The NFL is screwed, and I'm here to tell you why. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, the Minnesota Vikings are getting healthy, and they are peaking at the right time. Now, before we dive into today's show, if you guys hate the Green Bay Packers and a big-time matchup in U.S. Bank Stadium coming your way this Sunday, just hit that thumbs-up icon. If I had to pick my most hated team in the NFL, Packers are definitely number one, and I don't even know who number two would be. So if you guys hate the Green Bay Packers, hit that thumbs up icon. All right, so the biggest news for the Vikings and why I think the NFL may be screwed here is because they're getting this man back. Agent Zero, Ivan Pace Jr. is expected to make his return to the starting lineup this Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers, and they need him because the Packers are one of the better rush offenses in the National Football League, and the Vikings have one of the best rush defenses in the league with Ivan Pace in the lineup. Yards per game, 77.5, that's first. Yards per carry, 3.5, that's first. Rush defensive success rate, 71.6, that's first as well. And then also yards after contact, 2.34, that is first. And with the wagon of the Packers coming to U.S. Bank Stadium this weekend, you're going to need them because the Packers' bread and butter, what do they want to do offensively? It is establish the run, set up the play action, deep shots with Jordan Love and all the weapons they have over there. But this is one of the better rushing teams in the league, averaging 147.3 rushing yards per game. And the kind of catalyst, the workhorse for this team is Josh Jacobs. This is their focal point offensively. They want to get him the football early and often and just set that tone for the rest of the game. This guy's having an unbelievable season. 278 carries, just over 1,200 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, and he's found the end zone 13 times this season. Now, I know everybody's freaking out. The Vikings can't stop the run without Pace, and this is excluding the Seahawks game this past weekend, but you are right. Like, the Vikings' run defense takes a dramatic step back without Pace in the lineup. We just showed all the same numbers. The Vikings were first in every single one of these categories, but without Pace in the lineup, they're 15th in yards per game. They're 18th in yards per carry, 23rd in rush defensive success rate, and then yards after contact, they're 25th as well. So clearly there is a gap between Ivan Pace in the lineup and Ivan Pace out of the lineup for Brian Flores and this defense. And what better time to have him back with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions coming next week in Week 18. So hopefully Pace will feel his impact out there. But also another guy who I'm fired up to watch play again this weekend is Jalen Redmond, the big fella out of Oklahoma. And he should be ready to go this weekend versus the Packers. He was out last week with the concussion. And if I had to kind of pick like who is the breakout player this season for the Vikings, it would have to be the UDFA. He has been awesome. This is how he shakes out according to PFF. His overall grade is 86.9, which is fourth out of 217 defensive tackles in the league. Pass rush grade 67 flat, and then right there, the run defense grade 83.2. That is the third highest out of all defensive tackles. He has really broken out over the past month, so having him back in the lineup plus Pace, it gets me to this, and I don't even think it's a hot take. I think this is a cold take. I think the Vikings will shut down the Packers' run game this Sunday. I think the storyline of the game will be the Vikings' defense is kind of looking like how they looked during the first 5 weeks of the season. I think Flores is going to have a great game plan. I think the guys are going to be flying around that football field, and plus with the crowd noise on top of all of that, kind of being the icing on the cake, I think this Vikings defense will be the reason they beat the Green Bay Packers this weekend. Hey, my score prediction's 23-13. I got the Green Bay Packers only scoring one touchdown in the bank this weekend. But let's welcome them back to the lineup. Ivan Pace Jr., type his jersey number, type those zeros down below, show him some love because personally, one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL. He plays like a chicken with its head cut off. He has truly been fantastic for the purple and gold. And plus, he's a UDFA. He's gotten it out the mud. So let's show him some love. Type those zeros down below. Now, coming up next year on the program, why are the Vikings truly Super Bowl contenders? I'll explain those thoughts here in a second, but first, got to give a massive shout out to my favorite sponsor here at Vikings Now, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today, use code CLNS. You guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And for the Boise State-Penn State game coming up next week, I got a lineup already in play where I'm going to take the more on Ashton Genty, his rushing yards. I'm going to take the more on Penn State wide receiver Harrison Wallace, his receiving yards. Then I'm going to fade the Penn State quarterback here. I'm going to take his less on 166.5 passing yards. But hey, if you guys want to fade this lineup or ride with this lineup, I just suggest you guys do so at PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. I got that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's video. But massive shout out to PrizePicks. Run your game. So are the Vikings a Super Bowl team? This seems like it gets talked about over and over again, not just from Vikings media members, but from other NFL media members, and it kind of seems like everybody's split in between. Well, I got 5 reasons why they are. Number 1, the Sam Darnold playoff run. Now, I don't think you need to have an undisputed top 5 quarterback in the league to go on a Super Bowl run, but you need a quarterback that is playing at a top 5 level. We look back when Joe Flacco went on that run with the Ravens, when Nick Foles went on that run with the Eagles. They were both playing at top 5 quarterback level, even though they weren't truly considered a top 5 quarterback in the league. But with what Darnold has done this season, he truly has been a top 5 quarterback. And, he's really carried this Vikings offense over the last couple of weeks. They're not winning because of the run game, because of the defense. They are winning because of this man right here, Sam Darnold, and how he has carried this offense over the last couple of weeks. So I'm looking at number 14. If the Vikings do go on a Super Bowl run, he's going to have to go and win you at least one game. And, they also got to, get it going on the other side of the field here too. They have a Super Bowl level defense, and I think it's undisputed at this point. I think the crowd noise will play a big factor in if the Vikings defense is good or great in this postseason run, which is why I am so huge, obviously, on the Vikings getting the number 1 seed. But with how Brian Flores likes to do it, if you have that crowd noise on top of that typical hellfire defense, good luck to opposing quarterbacks coming in the U.S. Bank Stadium and trying to get a win. And, thirdly here, it's not like you have a powerhouse team in the NFC. Now, listen, if you had the Bills, Chiefs, and Ravens, yeah, I would probably be a little more hesitant in saying the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. But the NFC is wide open. And let's just say the Vikings hypothetically do get the number 1 seed, where they get that bye and they are resting wild card weekend. What team on here are you really, too concerned about heading in the U.S. Bank Stadium and beating this team? Obviously, the Lions are a great team. The Eagles are a great team. I think the Packers could poise a lot of different challenges for the Vikings, but I think the Vikings are better than all those teams. Plus, you add on top that you are at home field. And again, there's not a true powerhouse in this conference like Kansas City, like Baltimore, like Buffalo. So if you get home field, hey, I've already said it multiple times. I think the Vikes are going to the Super Bowl, and I think I don't want to say this just yet. I was about to say it. I don't think the Vikings lose another game this season, but, that's another take for another video. But number 4 for me is I got some producers shaking their heads at me in the studio. But weapons galore. I'm going to go as number 4 is why the Vikes are a Super Bowl team. Listen, I think they got the best trio of pass catchers in the National Football League, and you can start off with Justin Jefferson and what he's done this season. He has been fantastic, and he's opened other stuff up for Jordan Addison, for T.J. Hockenson. All of these guys have had great seasons. And, if I had to pick a 2 wide receiver, tight end trio from any team, I'm probably choosing the Minnesota Vikings compared to everybody else. But number 5 for me, and this is kind of a rah-rah speech, but, nobody believes in you. You go turn on ESPN, Fox Sports, any of these big-time media, our sports media companies, and they're saying who they think who they think is going to win the Super Bowl. I promise you this right now, even if the Vikings get the number 1 seed, nobody will pick them because they got Sam Darnold blinders on. They got almost Vikings blinders on because still people think the Packers are a better football team than the Vikings. Even the bookmakers out west, this Sunday in U.S. Bank Stadium, the line is flipped 4 points where now the Packers are favored by 2.5 points in this weekend. So I think the Vikes, they're a Super Bowl team. But hey, maybe you guys disagree with me. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Are the Vikings Super Bowl contenders? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts if the Vikes are Super Bowl contenders. And also, I am on Twitter at Pat Sieps is the Twitter handle. Give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow right back. But we are going to be going live for the Vikings-Packers game about an hour and a half before kickoff. So tune in then. Can't wait to hang out with you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Skol Vikes.